There are thousands of cases where people have reversed serious cancers by changing to a strict plant-based diet. Cancer cells don't just fade away. The only thing that will defeat cancer is a strong immune system, and plant foods strengthen that immune system. Just ask Dr. Ruth Heydrich, who was diagnosed with breast cancer over 20 years ago, despite the fact she was eating better and exercising more back then than what government guidelines recommend today.
It can't be cancer. I'm too healthy. I'm a marathoner, for God's sake. I can't have cancer. This lump is something else. I was horrified, mortified, felt betrayed by my body, thought this can't be happening. So even though I felt healthy, there was this insidious cancer that was growing inside me. I didn't know it for a long time.
After her surgery, she was faced with the prospect of chemotherapy and radiation treatments to kill cancer cells that had spread throughout her body.
When I was told that I needed chemotherapy and radiation, I was dreading it. I was thinking it was scary. I really did not want to have poison injected in my veins. And having worked for the military, I knew what radiation damage could do to a body. I did not want that. So I was looking for something to tell me another way. I just maybe intuitively felt that there has to be another answer.
She sought not just a second opinion, but 5 second opinions, until she found Dr. John McDougall, who said in no uncertain terms her breast cancer was caused by her diet.
Before my dietary change, I ate what I call the SAD diet, the standard American diet. Well, I knew that it wasn't diet in my case, but let's prove it to the world. And I knew because I was not eating any red meat. I had only skim milk and chicken and fish. And so when I went to see Dr. McDougall, he said, that's the diet that caused your breast cancer. I was shocked. He said, if you want to save your life, change your diet. And of course my response was, let's see, let's prove it one way or the other. And then I thought, oh, it's too late. And he said, no, it's not too late, because your immune system, you've had the surgery, you've removed that tumor. Now what your body has to do is kill off those stray cancer cells that have, without any doubt, already spread through your body. What your body now has to do is kind of a mop-up operation, and that's what diet enables that immune system to do. The major point, though, is that you search for the cause. Breast cancer is a symptom of a lousy diet.
She refused chemotherapy and radiation treatments and switched to a 100% plant-based diet. 20 years later, she's cancer-free and credits her new diet with saving her life. Breast cancer thrives in an estrogen-rich environment, and women in America are literally swimming in estrogen with levels up to twice as high as women eating plant-based diets. Animal-based diets also cause girls to begin their menstrual cycles at a much younger age than girls eating plant-based diets. In just 140 years, the average age of puberty in U.S. girls has dropped from 17 to 12, and menopause starts 4 years later. In other words, an animal-based diet has added 9 years of menstrual cycles to the lives of women. How do we know this is caused by diet? Because girls raised in the U.S. and throughout the world on plant-based diets reach their puberty at the normal age.
Usually, parents take great pride as they see their children mature, and they think, oh, my daughter's, we're getting graphic again, started her periods when she was 11 years old, and they think that this is good. Actually, it's bad. It increases the risk of breast cancer, premature death, heart disease, all these other problems. We need to turn it around and try to delay the onset of puberty in our children.
Men on animal-based diets also reach puberty earlier and have abnormally high levels of testosterone. And studies have linked high testosterone levels to prostate cancer. Men throughout the world eating traditional plant-based diets have normal testosterone levels and don't get prostate cancer. In 1993, the National Cancer Institute published the results of a study with women who had been treated for breast cancer. They told half the women to continue with their typical American diets and asked the other half to change to a plant-based diet. After only 4 years, almost 40% of the women who stayed on their animal-based diets had recurrences of breast cancer. Not a single woman who changed to a plant-based diet had a recurrence of breast cancer. The difference between the two groups? Animal-based diets feed cancers. Plant-based diets feed your immune system. Cancer just doesn't go away on its own, and it will return with a vengeance if your immune system can't fight it. When you look around the world, populations eating animal-based diets have skyrocketing rates of breast and other cancers, compared to those populations eating plant-based diets.
When I was diagnosed back in 1982, the incidence of breast cancer in women was 1 in 14. A couple of years after that, it was 1 in 12. Then I watched it 1 in 10, 1 in 8, and it's still increasing in frequency. And if you look at this planet Earth, and again, the incidence of breast cancer all around, you find it is highest in those countries that eat the most animal foods, that have the highest fat consumption. And conversely, breast cancer is extremely rare in those countries that can't afford to eat animals.
Plant-based diets also cure adult-onset diabetes, as well as many other diseases. The American Diabetes Association will tell you there is no cure for adult-onset diabetes, which simply means there is no drug that will cure the disease. And yet, adult-onset diabetes is easily and quickly cured with a change in diet and lifestyle.
So I don't really believe there are any intelligent people in the scientific community that have any doubt that type 2 diabetes is caused by the rich Western diet. I think everybody agrees with that. But what they don't do is they don't take the next step, which is say, okay, this is the cause of it, so what you ought to do is you ought to change your diet.
They come in and get on this program, and in 24 hours, they have cut their insulin by half. On day number 5 or 6, they don't need insulin at all, ever again. Now that, when you hear about it, I know sometimes you may hear things like this and you think, that's impossible. How could that be true? You know, the doctor says this is incurable. You can't reverse it. It is not true. You can completely heal diabetes, and very, very quickly.
In most cases, 5 to 7 days. We have a few cases that are particularly severe. It might take 2 weeks.
We find in 5 to 7 days someone with type 2 diabetes, if they eat a 100% plant-based diet, they're no longer on insulin. I haven't seen that not happen.
So yes, the emphasis on treatment by the American Diabetic Association, by the American Heart Association, by the National Osteoporosis Foundation, and so on, they're all in the wrong direction.